Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 5 math. You can find all the lessons on 8plusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject app. Scroll down to grade 5 math and then click on view all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter multiplication. The lessons we're going to cover today are multiply by one digit number, multiply by one digit number word problem, multiplication patterns over increasing place value, multiply numbers ending in zeros. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. Okay, here I'm on grade 5 math. Let's just start with the first lesson, that is multiply by one digit numbers. Okay, let's just start with the lesson. 9 times 6. Leave it. You can do the practice questions later today. You have to start with the test questions times 9. So before starting this the lesson multiplication, make sure you are perfect with multiplication tables, right? Multiplication tables are very important. So 688 times 9. Let's just count a table of 8 until 8. 9 times 8 is 72. Write 2 over here and carry 7. 9 times 8 is again 72. 72 plus 9 is 79. Write 9 over here and carry 7. 9 times 6 is 54. And 54 plus 6 equals, 54 plus 7 equals 61. So that is 6,192. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is option number 2, 6,192. Multiply 401 times 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 0 is 0. And 2 times 4 is 8. That is 802. Option number 2 is the correct option. 401 times 2 is 802. Two hundred 14 times 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. And 2 times 2 is 4. That is 428. Option number 2 is the correct option. Very good. That is 428. 942 times 6, which is the correct option. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 5,652. 6 times 2 is 12. 942 times 6. 6 times 2 is 12, carry 1. 6 times 4 is 24 and 125, 5 carry 2. 6 times 9 is 54 and 2 56. That is 5,652. Option number 2 is the correct option. Two hundred and one times 2, so which is the correct option? That is 2 times 1 is 2, 402. Option number 2 is the correct option. 283 times 3. Two hundred 83 times 3 equals, very good, that is 849. Option number 2 is the correct option. Four hundred 95 times 5, which is the correct option. Option number 2 is the correct option, that is 2,475. 431 times 2, which is the correct option. That is 862. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself. You can just move on to next lesson. Then is multiply by one digit numbers word problems. Let's just start with the test questions. Our carpet store has 9 commercials every hour on a local television station. How many commercials will the store have in 957 hours? 957 times 9. 9 times 7 is 63, write 3 here and carry 6. 9 times 5 is 45 and 6, 51, write 1 and carry 5. 9 times 9 is 81 and 5, 86, so that is 8,613. You guys are here to learn, isn't it? So please focus on the learning. We are not here to make friends. A parking garage has 9 levels. There are 221 parking spots on each level. How many parking spots are there in all? So you have to do 221 times 9. So which is the correct option? That is 9 times 1 is 9, 9 times 2 is 18. Carry 1, 9 times 2 is 18 and 1 19. So that is option number 2 is the correct option. That is 1989. Option number 2 is the correct option. As part of their charitable giving, 4 food companies sponsored a local food bank. Each company donated 357 cans of food. How many cans of food in total did the companies donate? So let's just multiply 357 times 4. 4 times 7 is 28, write 8 and carry 2. 4 times 5 is 20, write 2 and carry 2. 4 times 3 is 12 and 2, 14. So that is 1428. Option number 2 is the correct option, and that is 1428. Nina worked as a newspaper writer for 4 days last year. She wrote an average of 195 words each day. How many words did Nina write for the newspaper in total? Newspaper in total. So you have to do 195 times 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 9 is 36, 37, 38. And carry 3. 4 times 1 is 4, and that is 780. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is option number 2, 780. A city has 4 parking spots on each block. How many parking spots are there on 961 blocks? So, which is the correct option? So, which is the correct option? 4 times 961 equals. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 3,844. A parking garage has 2 levels. There are 142 parking spots on each level. How many parking spots are there in all? Option number Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 284. 142 times 4 is 284. That is 284. A game show has 5 categories. There are 359 points on each category. How many points are there in total on the game show? So, which is the correct option? 359 times 5 equals. Three hundred 359 times 5. 5 times 9 is 45, right? 5 and carry 4. 5 times 5 plus 4 is 29. 5 times 3 is 15 and 2 is 17. That is 1795. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. Multiplication patterns over increasing place values. Seven times five. Okay, let's just start with the test questions. You can do the practice questions in your own. Nine times what number is 27? Then nine times what number is 370? Basically, we are going to learn the increasing place values over here. We know that 9 times 3 is 27, right? Now, 9 times what number is 270? You have to look the number of zeros over here. 9 times 3 is 27. You have one zero over here, so that means that is 9 times 30 is 27. Then same way, where we have 9 times 300 is 2700. Then 9 times 3000 is 27,000. Then 9 times 30,000. Then 9 times 300,000. And then 9,000. 3 millions it is. So option number 2 is the correct option. That is the correct option is option number 2. Complete the pattern. 1 times missing number equals 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 60 is 60, 1 times 6,000 is 6,000. So that is option number 1. 6, 60, 600, 6,000, 60,000, 600,000. Option number 1 is the correct option. Complete the pattern. Which is the correct option? Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 32, 320, 3,200, 32,000, and 320,000. Option number 1 is the correct option. Complete the pattern. So which is the correct option? Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 50 is 35, 350. Then 3,500, 35,000. So option number 1 is the correct option. Complete the pattern, which is the correct option. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 8 times 7 is 56. Then 8 times 70 is 560. Then 8 times 700 is 5,600. Then 8 times 7,000 is 56,000. Option number 1 is the correct option. Complete the pattern, which is the correct option. Option number 1 is the correct option. Complete the pattern, which is the correct option. Option number 2 is the correct option. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 20 is 120. 6 times 200 is 1200, and so on. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to the next lesson. The next lesson is multiply ending numbers in zeros. 6 times 30. You have to multiply the non-zero values only. Just do 6 times 3. We know that 6 times 3 is 18. Then you can add, we have only one zero. You can add the zero at the end. So that is 180. Let's just start with the test questions. Hundred times two is just do the non-zero. Just multiply the non-zero values. 2 times 1 is 2. Then add the other two zeros. So that is 200. Option number 2 is the correct option. 100 times 2 is 200. Option number 2 is the correct option. Twenty times 7, which is the correct option. Multiply the non-zero values. 7 times 2. 7 times 2 is 14. And 40. Option number 1 is the correct option. Nine thousand times 6. So which is the correct option? That is 9 times 6 is 54. So just multiply the non-zero values. 9 times 6 is 54. Write 54 and add 3 zeros. So 1, 2, and 3. So that is 54,000. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 54,000. Option number 2 is the correct option. Six times 30, which is the correct option? That is 180. Option number 2 is the correct option. Eight times 900 equals. Very good. That is 7,200. Option number 2 is the correct option. 14 times 3, which is the correct option. 4 times 3 is 12, that is 120. Option number 2 is the correct option. 5 times 3000 equal. That is 15,000. Option number 1 is the correct option. Eighty times 1 equals. 80 times 1 is 80. Option number 1 is the correct option. Times 90 equals 360. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 5 math. Chapter we were working on is the chapter we were working on is multiplication. The lessons we have covered today are multiply by one digit numbers, multiply by one digit number word problems, multiplication patterns or increasing place values, multiply numbers ending in zeros. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons you just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lessons, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you. Or either you can write down the question in the chat box and here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. No questions? Okay, then that's all for today.